Welcome to the Nehemiah Entrepreneurship Community Podcast. I'm your host, Patrice Tsague. I'm actually here at a client's in Orlando, Florida. As many of you guys know, we provide certification training and coaching to individuals around the world who want to learn not only how to become trainers and coach from a kingdom perspective, but also want to know how to monetize their certification, how to build a profitable practice, whether it's training practice or coaching practice with that certification. And that happens through our Nehemiah Entrepreneur Community Centers. And that allows them to monetize. I'm actually here at a client where I'm doing this podcast from. Actually, let me give a shout out to Juan Rodriguez with the Allies Auto, right? So if you are in the Orlando, Florida area or anywhere in the Florida area and your car is, you have an issue with your car, there's a great collision shop called Allies Auto. Check them out. They have provide warranties and just great accolades. They're one of our clients, by the way. I have with us here today Lorna Mutegi and Debra Schlaht. They're here because we have an opportunity for you to also learn how to become certified as a Nehemiah Biblical Entrepreneurs Trainer. All right. And so if you're watching and listening, you know what? I've always wanted to teach other people how to do business. I've always wanted to train other people on various topics. I've always wanted to make money through training. You want to listen to this because we're going to talk about a unique opportunity that you have to become not only a certified trainer, but how do you make money doing it? We have with us here today, Debra Schlaht. So Debra is a director of training and coaching. She leads this process. Lorna is not only a master trainer and coach with us, but Lorna is also a center director in Kenya. So Lorna is one of those who not only help certify, but also Lorna, you also hire and employ these certified trainers to help your center to grow and develop. So let's start first with Debra. Debra, so first, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you, Patrice. I'm glad to be here.
Debra, so why should those who are watching and listening give us 30 minutes of their day today?
Well, Patrice, I think you talked about it in the opening that there are many people that are skilled and in business. They want to have a chance to share it with others. They want to share with them how to bring their faith into their business. And how do they do that in a way that helps supports others? How do they use their gifting and their skills? They may be called in to be a trainer or a teacher. And so this is a great opportunity to learn about how we do that, Patrice, and opportunities that we have to help them take their knowledge and their experience and be able to use it in a way that helps grow the kingdom marketplace.
Awesome. To you as well, Lorna. Why should they give us 30 minutes of their time today? Lorna, are you with us?
Yes, sorry. Well, really, I think the world needs it. Where we are today, the world needs individuals who have a good understanding of their profession or their ability and skills. And so, the world needs community. And so I have come to realize that we can't do business on our own. We need guidance. We need men and women who have a heart, who have a good understanding of that particular, area of expertise. And coaching and training has become one of the key ways of being able to drive businesses forward. And so for me, it's a little bit like a no-brainer, so to speak,
I love it. I love it. The world needs it, and it's a good opportunity to monetize. So guys, some people are watching, listen to us, they're saying, what exactly is biblical entrepreneurship? They've heard of entrepreneurship, but what is this thing called biblical entrepreneurship? Debra, tell us more, Debra.
Wow. Well, biblical entrepreneurship is really about how to build a kingdom business that is focused on a quadruple bottom line. Talk about people, how do we take care of our customers, our vendors, our staff as well. How do we generate a profit? Because without profit, we have no business. So how do we generate a kingdom profit? How do we take care of the planet that the Lord has given to us? But we take it one step further. We add that eternal concept behind it. How are we transforming the marketplace? How are we making it different? How are we walking out our faith in a way that demonstrates how we live our life for Jesus and able to demonstrate it through our business? And so it is that fourth component that really sets us apart, being able to look at the principles that God outlines in His Word around business, the practical application, and then developing a kingdom business plan that gives us the direction to walk out, implement our business in this marketplace, and make a difference in the world.
Oh, I love it. You make a good point, Debra, there, because many people have heard of social entrepreneurship, which has to do with a triple bottom line.
Right.
But we add another one. We add an eternal bottom line. That's what sets us apart, right? Most businesses focus on a single bottom line. Some focus on the triple bottom line, but we go for bottom line because eternity really matters. Lorna, you are a biblical entrepreneur. What you had a few businesses before you actually took out training. So what made a difference when you think about you as an entrepreneur, pre-biblical entrepreneurship and post-biblical entrepreneurship? What was the difference for you?
Oh my gosh, do you have an entire day, Patrice? But I think the main one that I would really focus on is operational excellence and conviction. My why. That became very, very clear. So when you get to understand God's heart and desire for business, which is one thing that you get to really just be clear on, when you're doing the biblical entrepreneurship, you realize the importance of what marketplace has in a society. And you realize as an entrepreneur, you have such influence on a community, such influence, such power, And so when you get to understand what your responsibility is around that dominion or around that power or, that ability as an entrepreneur, you cannot muck around with it. You cannot muck around with what God says about what you need to do with your business. And so in order for you to have the kind of impact that God requires, then there has to be a very high level of excellence in the way you deliver, the way you structure your business, the way you take care of all your stakeholders, the way you see yourself, how you put yourself forward. And so if really the idea here is that I am meant to make a profit, then what does God say about that profit? What does God say about that wealth that I'm creating, and how am I supposed to use that? And so once you understand that entire ecosystem, you realize you have no choice. It needs to be best practice, doing it God's way, and then you get exactly what you need out of your business.
I love it. What brought to my mind is a blog that we did several weeks ago, where we really talked about kingdom business best practice. And we quoted, by the way, if you don't get our blog, I want you to visit nehemiahecommunity.com, so you can there sign up for our weekly newsletter and blog, so you can start getting them. So in that blog, Lorna, we quoted Dr. Jeff Van Duzer, the retired provost of Seattle Pacific, in his best-selling book, Why Business Matters to God. He said business has two purposes. He says to create meaningful and creative work, and to provide services and products for common flourishing. And in that statement, I'm focusing on this idea of creating meaning and creative meaning to create meaningful and creative work. The idea that he brought up is that it's business is about tapping into that idea of the creative nature who we are, that God has made us, right? He's made us to be creative. As I say, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and we are created in his image and his likeness. Like him, we are creators. But then he takes it one dimension further, and he brings the emphasis of this idea of meaningful this idea of service and products for common flourishing. Let me talk about that common flourishing. That's what you're bringing up, which is the idea that business is about ensuring that whatever we do, that everybody wins, right? That the vendor wins, the customer wins, the employers win, right? The investors win, that everybody wins for the common good, that we are called to be influencers. Really, it's not just about the product and the service we provide or the money we make, but it's about the witness and the light that we are in the marketplace. Now, Debra, she mentioned a point. She used the term operational excellence, which oftentimes when you think about a biblical business or kingdom business or even a biblical entrepreneur, you don't always, unfortunately, connect the two, right? When you say kingdom business, Christian business, we don't immediately think operational excellence, right? When we hear the term operational excellence, we tie it more to a secular business or worldly company, good to great, or some of these great secular thinking. Well, first, why is that? And secondly, should that be so?
I think it is, I'm going to use the word, it's a shame that is the impression that people have. And in fact, I've even heard other Christians at times say, I would do business with anyone but a Christian. It should be the opposite way. We should be running our businesses at the top of our game and looking at who we talk about stewardship of our business, and the chief steward, the leader of that business, is working under the authority and privilege of God. That's who owns our business, and we should be always striving to be representative of Him in all that we do. And sometimes we don't pay our bills on time. We don't treat our customers with courtesy that should be done, that we may not always stand behind our product or service. And that creates an impression in the marketplace that we really don't honor what we say. We're not walking out our conviction out in the marketplace. And no, it shouldn't be that way, Patrice. We should be leading. We should be doing and above what the marketplace is doing. And when we are those examples, we're raising up the expectations for everyone around us. As those businesses are being ran in operational excellence and how they serve and how they run their business and how they look at the people that they serve, then we should be pulling others up in the marketplace to rise to a new standard. We should not be sinking below what is acceptable in the marketplace. But I have to say, I think we're seeing some differences. I think we're seeing people rise up, and as more people are taking and seeing these concepts that they are striving for that, how they can be more excellent in what they do.
Oh, I love it. I love it. By the way, if you want to learn more about how to take your business to excellence, visit our website, nehemiaecommunity.com, nehemiaecommunity.com. So we have conferences, we have seminars and different resources, courses and coaching programs to help you do that. Lorna, let's talk a bit about this certification. So we're talking about the Biblical Entrepreneur Trainer certification, the opportunity for you. Again, sorry about the phone ringing. I'm actually in a client's office while doing this here in Orlando, Florida. So let's talk about this. So if you want to register for this conference, first of all, Debra, before we continue, if somebody's watching this and said, I want in, I like to be a part of this upcoming certification. So what should I do? Tell us a bit, give us a call to action. What should I do? They want to be a part of it.
Well, that's great. We're going to have in the chat box here a link, and you can fill out an interest form. It doesn't commit you to anything. You get to know us. We get to know you. We can tell you more about the 3 parts of our certification process and whether this is a right fit. Patrice, we talk about calling and how important that calling is above everything else. So we want to get to know you, have you know us, fill out the interest form, and either Lorna or myself will be in touch, and we'll spend a few minutes and give you more information about the process that we go through. Our next class starts on May 10th, so we would love to have people get in touch with us as soon as possible. and be a part of this great network that we have, our global network, Patrice, of trainers and our coaches around the world who are making a difference in the marketplace.
Awesome. So go to nehemiahproject.com, and there, I guess you go to certification, and from there you see the interest form. The link is also here. If you're watching this through YouTube, through our blog, or if you're watching it through any of the podcast channels, you can also click the button there and go to it. But if you're not, just go to nehemiahproject.com, or nehemiahproject.org will get you there as well. So you can go ahead and go to certification, and you will get a link that would allow you to be able to sign. So Deb, so you're saying that I can't just register, I have to go through a process first. Why is that? I mean, I'm qualified, I think I'm ready. Why do I have to go through the process?
Well, it is about a calling. And Patrice, we want to ensure that those who come alongside of us understand that this isn't just a course and you're done. We want to ensure that you understand the process that you'll be going through as a trainer, learning to be certified, what the expectations are, how the course works, and many other aspects around it, and be able to understand how you want to use this certification. How are you going to walk it out into the marketplace, and how can we help you with that? Because we also, as part of our course, help with marketing, with sales techniques, and other tools that you can use. So it's a great way for us just to ensure that we're all informed and that there are no surprises when you come to class.
Awesome. Clement, good to have you here. Thanks for watching. Listen, if you're enjoying our podcast, you have questions for Debra or Lorna, just go ahead and put it in the chat, and we'll make sure that we get to your questions. So Lorna, let me ask you, you began as a biblical entrepreneur yourself, mm-hmm. and then you became certified, and then you're now on a center. Talk to us a bit about that journey. What led you personally, before we start talking about what the benefits, talk about your journey. Why weren't you satisfied just being an entrepreneur? You went on to invest the resource to become a biblical a certified trainer and even a coach. And now you even wanted to talk about that journey. How was it for you? Has it been beneficial? What made you do it?
Okay, so Patrice, as you may know, I am what we call second generation in a family business. And so we got to hear, so my sister and myself got to hear about the biblical entrepreneurship during a very, during the COVID season. And so there was a lot of confusion around this time, but for some reason, okay, so we had actually registered for the program just before COVID. And so that's not the reason why we signed up for it. I think it was just a matter of timing, but it was so good because we had enough time to sit at home and do the program, okay? And so when I got to understand what you need to do as a biblical entrepreneur, looking at the quadruple, bottom line, that's right. When you have to look at all aspects of your business and how you need to lace that around biblical entrepreneurship, how you need to use prayer and, the Holy Spirit to walk you through difficult times. It was such great timing because that's actually when we started, we went through the COVID. And so it was during this time that one of the elements within the executive program that we were taking at this time was a very special program inside of that known as Identity and Destiny. If anyone is listening to this, that is a program you must take as an entrepreneur, even as a trainer or coach. And so what it got me to do was it got me to understand who I am, my identity, and my purpose. And so then all of a sudden, I'm feeling so firmly rooted in that, and I'm no longer swaying anymore. It was the level of clarity on what God had in store for me and what he wanted me to do. I just got it like that within 9 weeks. That's the length of the Identity and Destiny program. And so when that was clear, God did his thing. He threw me a curveball and he said, you know what? girl, I want you in training and coaching. And so I'm thinking, but Father, I already have a job. I'm already supporting my family business. Why would you call me into this space? How am I supposed to do the two? But, you know, as God would have it, he has a plan. He knows how everything needs to work out. And so it is because of that piece, the identity and destiny piece, that I was quite certain that training and coaching was for me. Because when you look at my experience at the school, I loved training my teachers. I loved the research. I loved getting into a problem and solving it and finding, you know, innovative ways to do it. So he was already preparing me. I just didn't know it. And so when I got into the certification, the trainer certification, it was almost magical. It was like, I belong here. I mean, I had trainers like Debra. I had my trainer based here in Kenya, Frank Kitonga, who is our country director. I had mentors such as you, Patrice. And so in less than a year, I was so sure where I needed to be. And you know, training and coaching was it. And that's how I got into the space of certification.
I love it. I love it. So how has the experience been for you? Has it been worth it? How's the experience been for you?
Phenomenal. I mean, I am clear why I wake up every day, because there is a need. There is a need in the market. So let me just give you an example, Patrice. So the other day I was called to a Women in Business conference from one of the bigger churches here in Nairobi, Kenya. And I was invited to speak to 3,600 women. I had exactly 1 hour to do that. And when I spoke into just the principles of biblical entrepreneurship, I kid you not, Patrice, I could not get my way out of the room that we were in, out of the church we were in. Everyone, all the women were just climbing up. They were like, we want some of this. We want to understand how this works, because right now the world is, you know, we can't tell. We don't know what to do. Right now, the marketplace is so demanding. There's a lot of corruption going on. There is no breakthrough. And so there is a need. There's a definite need of a revival around how we think about business, because breakthrough is what entrepreneurs are looking for. Now, with biblical entrepreneurship, we get you to think about how to be innovative, you know, how to ebb and flow the marketplace, you know, ideas on how you need to market. And so that was such confirmation. There's confirmation over and over. Every time I'm sitting with a client, every time I'm doing my executive coaching, you assume that entrepreneurs know what they're doing just because they run a big business, but there is a lot of help that is needed. And that help, you know, comes from the Holy Spirit. But before you can plug into the Holy Spirit, you need to present a business to your CEO. And here we say our CEO is God. And you need a good, solid, firm plan. And so right now, a lot of businesses are looking for growth. And so it's helping people to understand their business life cycle. Where's your business at right now? Are you a startup? Are you at discovery? Are you at profit? So that you know what kind of strategy to put in place. And that's what I love so much. I love that challenge, because if you're a business today listening to this and you're thinking, how do I grow my business? It's really quick. Debra, Patrice, and myself will tell you, let's look at the people and let's look at the systems. That's it. And so we get them to think about their business not as this big elephant, but as a trainer and coach, we get you to just think about it in chunks. And so that's what entrepreneurs need today. Just how do I manage this entire ecosystem? And so that's what I love so much, you know, just being able to simplify it for them.
I love it. Again, I'm talking to Debra Schlaht and Lorna Mutegi about the upcoming Biblical Entrepreneurship Trainer certification that will give you the opportunity to not just get certified how to teach biblical entrepreneurship and other courses within my project, but how to monetize it through our local center or through your own business, your own practice. Debra, Clement has a question. Before we get to his question, though, I want to ask you, so people are listening and watching, and they're wondering, am I fit? So for Lorna, she discovered that she was a fit because of identity and destiny, and she looked at her profile and said, okay, this fits me and is working for her. So what's the ideal profile? So who should be filling out this interest form or reaching out? So talk to me a bit about the kind of people that should be considering this.
Well, I think, Patrice, we're not only looking for people who may have experience and expertise in a particular area or of business, whether it's finance or maybe they're marketing and they have this drive and they want to share with others. But it's also that gift of being able to communicate and express to others to help them along. It is about that natural fit that we have. I think one of the things I like about identity and destiny is the destiny part, that part that tells us that no matter what role we're in, this is what we execute. This is what we do. And I tell the story that I had my first coaching client in the 5th grade. I helped a student coming along. It was something that was natural within me that, and I can see the thread throughout my life of helping others to understand or to become more than who they are today. And so I think that there are those who have that gifting and that calling, and they know it innately. They have a strong desire to share with others what they know. And in fact, they would share with them whether they got paid for it or not. They're just so excited about it. And truly, our trainers are those who come through our programs for the most part. Many come from outside and get to learn to know us, but many of them have been through the program and they just think, wow, I have to share this. God is speaking to me in my business. I want to share that same message in my church or in my business community or with those that I'm colleagues with. I have a burden to share this with them, and I can't wait to learn how to do it. Now, I think one of the things that we've seen is that people see the difference between going through as a student and then they go through to learn how to teach it. And then the more we teach it, the more we build our own acumen, the more we learn from our students as well. And so it is a full circle, a 360-degree experience as we have the privilege to help others to learn how to take our curriculum and use it out in the marketplace.
I love it. I wish there was time to dig in, but we're going to prepare to land the plane. Before we do, though, I am going to answer your question, Clement. I'm going to have to answer your question. Before we do, Debra, real quick, I know that people are watching this. Okay, let's talk a bit about the return on investment here. Yeah. So what's the potential earning here for somebody who takes advantage of it? How much can they potentially earn?
Wow, really, this kind of the sky's the limit, isn't it, Patrice? Depending on how they want to use that, we expect our trainers to generate in gross revenue at least $12,000 a year, but certainly they can do more than that as they are forming their classes, working with their center directors. That's our first graduation level, as we help them to learn how to monetize what they do and be able to support them, and maybe it's additional income as well. So it depends on how much time they have and their ability to generate and reach out into their community. So I think that they can look at whatever their goal is. We want to make sure that we help them to achieve it, and we do that through a number of ways in our business building.
I love it. Of course, you address that in your assessment when they come to you one-on-one, right. Correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Because the one thing that is important, the one thing that is important is that we're not as a corporate trainer, right? We're going to help you as leads come in, but our trainers have to help us out in the marketplace and bring in and be that sales aspect as well.
All right. So you're not learning how to train, but you're also learning how to go out there and attract customers.
That's right.
Essentially. All right. So here's a question that a good faithful listener, Clement, said. By the way, Clement, thank you for being a faithful listener and viewer of the podcast. He says, how does someone in a discovery stage of his call, I see that he's familiar with our life cycle, fund the training?
Yeah, and Patrice, we really believe we want to help those. We don't want to have finances get in the way, but we do have a scholarship fund, and we do have a scholarship form that's on our website. We don't do 100% scholarship, but we do help as we can. So if Clement, I would encourage you to fill out the scholarship form, and it's at the bottom of our webpage, and you can fill that out, and we can see how we can help you to fulfill your dream.
Awesome, awesome. Does he have to do that before the assessment, or does it post
You can do
assessment?
it all at the same time. You can do it all at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Again, I'm talking to Debra and Debra Schlaht and Lorna Mutegi about the upcoming trainer certification, the opportunity for you to not only learn how to teach biblical entrepreneurship and other courses, but also learn how to monetize it. How do you build a revenue base with that? Ladies, there's a lot more we can talk about. You're gonna have to come back. We can talk about content, what they get out of it, and so forth, so on. Trying to come back. But before you leave, though, I do want you to give an advice to our listening viewers. Listen, if you want to register, if you're not yet signed up for this course certification, I want you to go to nehemiahproject.org or nehemiahecommunity.com, nehemiahecommunity.com. There you can learn. You can go to certification. You can learn about how to get certified in this program. There's also a link here if you're on YouTube or on Facebook that you can just click to go ahead and set up your initial need assessment, so you can begin the process of certification. And as Debra said, if you need a scholarship, that's available as well. You can also find it on our website. But for those of you who are saying, look, I want to know more about the Nehemiah Project, I want to engage in other things, listen, go to our website, nehemiahecommunity.com. You'll learn about our training programs, biblical entrepreneurship, identity and destiny, nothing but a job well, passive income continuum, more and more and more. You learn about our coaching program, executive coaching one-on-one, group coaching, diamond coaching. We even have an opportunity for you to be coached once a month by a coach for only $100 a month. Can you believe that? So in other words, we believe that everybody should be coached. So we have as low as $100 a month to as high as $10,000, $20,000 a month, based on your budget and your need. If you need coaching, we got it for you. Also, if you want to know about how to access financing, how we may help you to raise capital, I got an email today from an entrepreneur who said, Patrice, I still need capital. What should I do? And we're meeting with him to begin to talk about the process of him raising capital. Go to our website. You can learn more about that. And then more important than that, you'll learn how to become part of our community. Listen, membership does have its privileges. Become a member today. By becoming a member, you'll be able to connect with entrepreneurs from around the world, from Asia, from Latin America, North America, Africa, and even Europe. We are about to cross the 2,000 member mark. Think about it. Close to 2,000 entrepreneurs, all Christians, walk in the same direction, committed to building kingdom companies. Join the fastest growing kingdom entrepreneur community in the world, and engage and be a part and work with us so that we can transform the world together. If you enjoyed this podcast, I want you to share it. Friends, share with friends that which inspires them, encourages them, and equips them. So you have friends who you believe have the gift of teaching, have the gift of training, needs an opportunity to generate additional revenue or make it their main revenue. Share this with them. Put this on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn, on your YouTube. Share this so that others may take advantage of it as well. Email it to them so that they can also be inspired. They can hear about Lorna's story. They can hear about the opportunity for them to become certified trainers so that they can begin and unlock their career in this area. With that, before you leave, I want you to hear this final word of advice. Let's start with you, Lorna. So, Lorna, somebody's watching and listening right now, and they're saying, Lorna, I'm kind of where you were. I may be running a business right now with my family or just on my own. And I've always felt this burden to teach and train. But my concern is, as I make that leap, what does it look like, right? How do I preserve my business? Or I've defined myself up to now based upon this business. Now you're asking me to leap from there and do something different. What advice would you give them, Lorna?
Okay, so first I would say, if you have a calling or you feel like this is something that you'd want to do or explore, you want to evaluate why you want to do it. Okay, so for me, my why was my heart would just break whenever I saw businesses closing down. As an entrepreneur, I completely understand what that is like, how difficult it is, the traumas around running a business. It is not an easy space. And so my heart would bleed whenever I would see my fellow entrepreneurs just, going down, especially during the COVID time and even post-COVID. And so that was enough for me to say, I want to do something about it. So what is your conviction around this? Do you want to do something about this? Do you want to bring that experience you have with the current business you're running to help not only grow entrepreneurs, but grow your economy? Do you understand what the power of one business can do for a community, for a family, for an individual? And so with that understanding, then it's not even about making the money, because if you have that kind of conviction, I promise you, the money will come. It's the end result that you're looking for. So for me, I want to see the result of men and women entrepreneurs who are thriving, who are able to raise their families, because I have a heart for families. It's the youth trying to put together businesses, and it works, because our future is in the youth. And so it's getting to understand, oh my gosh, I can actually be a part in ensuring our future, our economies are thriving, just by working with X number of, entrepreneurs. And so if you have that kind of calling, the money comes through right at the end. But if you want to see good results and experience that kind of impact, then again, I know I say that it's a no-brainer, but it's an obedience. And so you want to listen to what God is telling you. And so obey that call, because he is asking for an army. He is asking for an army of entrepreneurs, and we don't have enough trainers and coaches to be able to raise that army. And so there is a lot of opportunity here. And so I am actually even offering my center, Patrice, to be able to walk with these men and women in Africa, anyone who wants to just have a conversation around training and coaching. I know that we can set a meeting between Debra and myself, but if you just want to know more and just really understand what God really wants for businesses and how you see yourself fitting in there, I am open. And so just so that I can help plug you into our system so that we can prepare you for this conversation between Debra and myself. That's what I would say. It's about making an impact. You need to leave a legacy around this. What did you do for Marketplace? And if you have that kind of heart, you go for it. You go for it. You don't wait. You go for it.
That is, I also heard that you have an opportunity actually to expand to, is it Uganda?
Absolutely.
That is sponsors actually hiring you to go there to train there and so forth. What an opportunity. When you first coined Sonorgas for Africa, could you imagine that? It is happening, Lorna. You are going beyond Kenya already, and it's been less than a year. Well, maybe a little bit over a year, right? Here it is. You were prophetic.
Amen. Amen.
Debra, somebody's watching, listening, and they're saying, but I'm not a Lorna. I'm not as articulate. I'm not as beautiful. I don't have the business experience that she has. She came with a lot of pedigree. I don't have that. Could you convince me, Debra, that if I follow this burden, that I can make it?
Well, I think Lorna said it best about, first of all, it starts, if you've got a burden in your heart and you're thinking, I really want to do this, it starts with prayer. What does God really want you to do? And how does he want to use that? We're not always gifted with what we think we need, but God uses it, and he prepares us in a way for his plans and his purposes. What we need to do is to walk it out, overcome the fear, look past the challenges, forget what other people tell us, and to walk it out and to say, here am I. Go ahead, Lord. I'm here. I'm willing to take take a risk and step out in faith that you're going to take care of me. And you know, Patrice, our community, our e-community is filled with members that want other people to succeed. We want to help each other to grow up and to do what God has called them to do. You talked about Uganda. This was I was so pleased. Someone that we all work with, that I was able to introduce them to Lorna and say, here is someone that you need to talk to who can help you in that area, the sponsor. And so, you know, we want to help each other to grow and to succeed and to do all that God's called them to be. And so I would just say, step out in faith, take a small step, talk to us. We'll help you along the way, and we'll help you to discover, and we'll help to train you up so that you can use your voice. I often talk about, Patrice, that, you know, the Bible tells us that Jesus tells us in the Bible that his shepherds can hear his voice. Well, as his shepherds in the marketplace, our people can hear our voice. They don't always hear mine. They don't always hear Lorna's. They may not even hear yours. But whoever is speaking that needs to hear them, the Lord will orchestrate that in a way that they can hear that shepherd's voice and get the help that they need. So don't hide it. Step out in faith and be a faithful servant, not one who hides your talents in the sand.
Amen.
I love it. Debra, Lorna, thank you so much to you both. What an amazing journey you've been through, Lorna. What an amazing opportunity, Debra. Thank you. Guys, you heard it here. Take advantage of it. Listen, go to the website right now and sign up and join that upcoming certification. Yes. With that said, I want to pray for you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord enable you to steward those talents that are under your care. May you steward them in such a way that you will one day hear those wonderful words, especially those of you who have the gift of trainer and teaching, and you're now being challenged and inspired to use it. May you one day hear those words. Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things. And guess what? He'll now make you rule over much. God bless you. Thank you for watching and listening.